Hello. I am going to create some videos. That is my intent at this point, at the very start of this, largely unscripted, but discussing my project that I've been working on for the past few years. It's taken a nosedive in that I started a business from it. The business has not succeeded, uh, heavily in debt at this point from a business loan, and trying not to get too stressed out about that because it is my intent to pay back the business loan, but at this time, my business is not generating any revenue. So I'm still very hopeful that this business will succeed in some way. There are many avenues, at least I believe that there are many avenues where uh, I could make this successful and at least have a have a break even point, if not make some good money. Many will think I'm crazy. Many have thought I'm pretty strange to have started a business around this idea, but uh, I believe in it. And it's very niche. It's very niche. It's based on this little object right here. This object, this object is a three-dimensional yin-yang design where as you twist it, as you rotate it, you see the yin and the yang, and it's all based on this design, or at least this is the start of the business. Um, why this design is special? Well, I came up with this three-dimensional yin-yang design, and it's wholly based on the idea that uh, this is a symbol known by billions of people. This is a symbol appreciated by billions of people, and it's a unique rendering of that symbol. And so, even if I just get a small portion, a very small percentage of those billions of people to appreciate this design, and we can put it to use in some way, that's still a lot of people around the world that would be interested in this design because it is unique. How do I know it's unique and true and truly revolutionary or truly different than anything that's been developed before? Junebug or beetle flying around. Well, here's how I know. Um, I showed this design to two people who would know. One of them is a worldwide expert on the yin yang symbol. She goes around. She wrote a book about the history of the yin yang symbol and Chinese Taoist Confucianist culture and the meaning of the symbol. Uh, it's one of the most widely referenced books on the yin yang symbol. And I sent her a note one day, an email, um, and I asked her to have a look. And she got on the Zoom call with me, and she told me that it was extraordinary, something that she had never seen before, and it did not exist in the 2,500 or so years of Taoist culture. And she also said that it explains some of the yin yang philosophy better than the traditional flat circular yin yang symbol. Um, in that, uh, specifically, it shows a whole integration of the yin and yang energies, that they are truly integrated. Now, of course, the circular flat symbol does as well, but in this, she says, you can see the transition, the state between yin and yang uh, as it rotates. So on the flat symbol, uh, you don't have a frame of reference to know actually where your state is at that time. And so this symbol or this design uh, tells a particular story in that Um, Not only are the yin and yang transitions happening all the time, of course, but as you change your point of view, you can consider the yin or yang energies. In other words, it's more of a uh, proactive design, not a viewing or reactive design only. You can participate to change the state of the yin and yang energies. Uh, so, in practical terms, if you are, say, you're depressed, this design can remind you that if you change your point of view, you can see the other side, or you can. It's a reminder that these energies are always present, and you can change your point of view, your frame of reference, to understand the other side, to understand that the other energies, uh, fully integrated, yin and yang, uh, but transforming. And so that's why I call it a transforming yin yang, three-dimensional transforming yin yang, because it transforms from yin to yang, right? So it's a very very niche, simple idea, uh, but I think it is, again, based on uh, a slight tweak or a major revision of a symbol known by billions of people. I feel like that this will be lasting. This design will last well into the future and be referenced well into the future as the transforming yin yang, hopefully. So that was one person that I contacted, and she gave me feedback. The other person I contacted was a professor, I believe at Berkeley University. I found him online talking about, no, actually, I found him through a search. Uh, I searched for creating a yin yang from a sphere. And originally, I thought this was cut from a sphere. That if you take a ball and you cut the one side and then you twist it again and you cut it again, so make the cut, twist it 90 degrees and make another cut. I thought that you would get four of these uh, 3D yin yangs. I searched that term and I found an academic paper of his where this gentleman was, again, a professor of computer science at Berkeley. And um, he gave his students an assignment, his computer science students, an assignment to create a sphere, to create a yin yang out of a sphere. And then he published the results of the designs. He gives this assignment every year in his class. Um, and so in the paper, the published online paper, there were some interesting designs, nothing like this though. And so I contacted him, and he immediately responded that he would be interested in seeing it within a day. Like within half a day, we were on a Zoom call, and he told me that, yeah, this is amazing. I've never seen. No, none of my students ever came up with this design, and he himself is an accomplished sculptor, uh, making sculptures out of similar designs based on sacred geometry, based on mathematical formulas. And so he gave me the names of his sculptors, the people that help him fabricate the sculptures, and he told me I should do that. So that was another point of validation. Uh, so I felt pretty confident after I talked to these two individuals, and that drove me actually to, or inspired me to, get a patent on this design. Uh, patents are not patents are not cheap. Um, But the reason why I wanted to get a patent was just solely because I wanted to create this transforming yin yang as a large scale sculpture. And I do a lot of art myself. I'm an amateur artist. I paint abstracts and all kinds of other paintings, but I have no experience in sculpture. And so I felt that I thought it was such an interesting design that I didn't want anyone else to see it and create a large sculpture out of it. And I knew that I could make some decent money and get it out to the world if I were the one that created a sculpture out of it. So I thought, okay, and I thought could be other uses for it. In fact, the reason why I got the business loan and the patent also was because I wanted to create this as a small sculpture for homes. Uh, I call it a statuette, maybe about 12 inches tall that would fit on your bookshelf, and so that you could rotate it around and see the yin and yang. And so, of course, I knew there were other uses for this design, and so that's why I got the patent. Um, so, uh, fast forward, I got the validation that this is a pretty interesting, unique design, uh, transforming Yinyang, and I went and I contacted through Reddit. I found an inventor forum, and they were looking for people to come interview and give advice to. So I ended up on their podcast. I went in for an interview, and these two gentlemen, their feedback was largely after I had spent a lot of money actually on the statuette design. I hired a firm in Northern California to do some mechanical engineering to actually create the structure of this interior and exterior, of course, the blueprints, the mechanical engineering to produce this in a mold. Uh, Spent way too much money on that. Uh, Long story, which I'll get to eventually, probably. But I went onto this podcast and I told them about the statuette design that I wanted to create and the sculpture. And their feedback was actually to consider it as a piece of jewelry. And so that's what I did. I hired a small or a jewelry company in New York City to create a sterling silver small pendant out of this design. And it was hand cast out of silver, so they made a little mold, and each pendant has an individual mold, and they pour molten silver into it, and then they hand polish it. So I bought 100 of these handcrafted pendants, uh, and have been trying to sell them with no luck. Or I've sold about 10 of them, and I have about 90 left. And in that time, I've run out of money on my business loan. They're great looking pendants. I've got a lot of good feedback that people really think it's interesting and beautiful. And I'll probably in this video I'll show an image of it. Uh, but one of the points of feedback was that the pendant is too expensive for just being that. It's a solid piece of sterling silver, fairly heavy, uh, but the price is pretty high for being a chunk of silver with a sterling silver necklace. People expect something lower because it's silver. The problem is, of course, when you have a small batch, handcrafted first batch piece of jewelry like that, the costs are going to be pretty high. And so we have been trying to sell it. Myself and my daughters, who are part of my business with me, have been trying to sell them. And we're at the point of, we will sell them at cost, or slightly above cost, hopefully to make some profit. Uh, but it's been a real challenge because one of the hardest things about this small business that I started was the marketing aspect. So originally, I was going to take this statuette and sell it on Amazon. Uh, Long story, we never actually produced the statuette yet, uh, but we have the pieces of the silver pendants, and I did set up an Amazon account, but it was really challenging to meet their photography requirements and understand how to set up the account and get it going. I I probably should have stuck with Amazon because it is such a large marketplace, uh, but we shifted over to Pinterest because uh, I was told that jewelry does pretty well on Pinterest, even though it's not a marketplace per se. Um, and we set up a Shopify, our own website to sell these products on via a Shopify website. And for Amazon, the idea was we were going to do fulfilled by merchant (FBM), not ship our product into Amazon. Uh, but because again, I should have stuck with Amazon probably, uh, but for a number of reasons, we shifted over to uh, Pinterest and trying to just sell off of our Shopify website through the Meta Facebook advertising because we were told that that was the most accurate algorithm in or was a really good way to target specific niche customers uh, was through Facebook Meta advertising. Well, long story. We spent way too much money on that with no success. We did our own creatives. We did our own photography, our own videos, our own copyright using AI and our own creativity. Uh, but maybe it wasn't quite professional enough. Maybe again the pendant was priced too high. Um, but at a certain point, I got really frustrated with Facebook and jumped over to Pinterest. Now, Pinterest is interesting in that they assign an account manager, or they did assign an account manager to me. As long as I was willing to spend a certain amount on advertising, they would have somebody that would help me set up the ad account and the ads and run it through. Well, long story short, I spent way too much on Pinterest with a little bit of success, but not enough to justify how much I spent. We started out with what they called a sort of a consideration campaign. Like if you think of a funnel, like a marketing funnel, uh, we did about 3 or 4 weeks of consideration, and then we did 3 or 4 weeks of what do you call conversion campaign, trying to get people to actually convert over to buy. Uh, Essentially, I've run out of money, and it wasn't successful enough over a 2 months period, and I've just dropped off of that. So here I am right now. Uh, Really, no more funding, no more funds left in the bank account, and trying to figure out what to do next. We still have 90 of these necklaces. Uh, I bought a 3D printer where I could print a bunch of these and sell them individual as small knickknacks, but that takes a long time to print these things out. I am pursuing. I've contacted so many uh, agencies, organizations, government organizations that commission sculpture. I've I've uh, I've submitted for calls for art, calls for sculpture opportunities where you submit an idea or design, and essentially I've had no luck with that yet. Often they are looking for artists, sculptures with solid experience in public art. And I have to find a partner that I can collaborate with in the submission for a sculpture that has a lot of experience, that has the credibility of that it could actually be built and delivered to specification. So there's the sculpture opportunity, there's the statuette opportunity, there's the necklace pendant opportunity. I could create it in, it doesn't have to be sterling silver. We could go up in value. It could be gold or platinum, or it could be, maybe, I don't know, steel or aluminum, sell smaller or less expensive versions of this. But, setting that up also takes some funding. I commissioned someone to actually, in Milan, Italy, a purse designer to do a purse design of this. I know it sounds crazy, but wouldn't that be a pretty interesting, strange leather purse if it, in the horizontal position with straps that would go up, or at least it would stand out and would be uh, some kind of fashion, perhaps. So there's a purse. And now there's also, I would love to make this into a large building, right? Because there is space. If you created this 100-foot wide and 60-foot tall or something like that, like a really big version of it, there's space here in the top for a platform or a room inside, and there's space at the bottom for like an escalator or stairs inside. Like the dimensions of the design actually have space, interior space for some rooms. And so wouldn't it make a really cool building? So I've actually even contacted architecture firms, and of course, no luck on that. So, well, I have a 25-minute limit recording capability here on Canva, which I'm using to make this video. And so that will probably be my introduction to this project, to this issue, this situation that I'm in. And my challenge is to not default too much on this loan. It'll probably be sent to collection because I'm no longer able to make my payments. But I fully intend to pay off and make this business successful. So that's probably a good starting introduction to my challenge here. And I kind of covered a lot of it, but there's so many more angles to this story that I'd like to discuss uh, in future videos, hopefully. Uh, I do appreciate that you've taken the time to listen, and I would love to get your thoughts and feedback. I know this sounds crazy, but I do have a dream. Uh, I mean, everybody's got to have a dream like this, perhaps, entrepreneurial dream once in their life, perhaps. This is mine, and I'm way down the tubes now, way down the rabbit hole of committing to this. So thanks a lot, and hope you join me on the next video. Bye.